The soft hum of the plane's engines filled the air as Sophia peered out of the small window, her eyes tracing the endless stretch of ocean below. She was bound for a place that existed on the edge of reality, a secluded tropical island far from the noise of the world. It had been a spontaneous decision, one fueled by an invitation that had arrived without warning. The letter had been simple, yet it held an irresistible allure. It spoke of an island retreat, a place untouched by modern life, where guests could explore the depths of their desires in an atmosphere of complete freedom. No rules, no judgment, just indulgence and discovery. There had been no name, no return address, just an elegant signature. Myra. Sophia's heart raced as the island came into view, a jewel of green surrounded by the bluest water she had ever seen. The plane descended smoothly, the tiny airstrip barely visible against the lush vegetation. Her fingers tightened around the armrests, anticipation coursing through her veins. She had left behind her mundane life for this an adventure into the unknown. As the plane touched down, the door swung open to reveal a warm, balmy breeze, carrying the scent of saltwater and jasmine. A man was waiting for her at the edge of the airstrip, tall and bronzed, his dark hair tied back in a loose knot. He smiled as she approached, his eyes scanning her with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. "Welcome to the island, Sophia," he said, his voice rich and smooth. "I'm Luca, your guide for this journey." She nodded, unable to find her voice as he led her to a sleek, open-air jeep. The island was like nothing she had ever seen, lush, untamed, and alive with the sounds of nature. Birds called out from the treetops, and the rustle of palm fronds echoed through the air. There was a feeling of isolation, of being completely removed from the rest of the world. It was both thrilling and unnerving. As they drove deeper into the island, Sophia began to notice small, hidden pathways leading off the main road, some adorned with flowers, others obscured by thick vines. The farther they went, the more she realized that this place was designed to be explored, to be discovered slowly, layer by layer. They finally arrived at a sprawling villa, its white stone walls glowing in the golden afternoon light. The villa was perched on the edge of a cliff, overlooking the endless sea. Luca stopped the jeep and turned to her, his gaze lingering on her face. "This is where you'll stay," he said softly. "Myra will meet you later tonight." Sophia stepped out of the jeep, her legs slightly unsteady. Luca carried her bag inside, and as he set it down, he turned to her with a knowing smile. "Everything you need is here. Tonight, the real journey begins." With that, he was gone, leaving her alone in the villa. Sophia wandered through the open rooms, her fingers trailing over the smooth marble countertops, the soft fabrics of the curtains that billowed in the breeze. It was a place of luxury, but it was also strangely intimate, as though it had been designed just for her. As dusk fell, she found herself on the terrace, gazing out at the ocean. The sky had turned a deep shade of purple, and the stars were beginning to appear, one by one. She felt a growing sense of anticipation, an awareness that something was about to happen. She wasn't sure how long she stood there, lost in thought, when she heard the soft rustle of fabric behind her. She turned to find a woman standing at the edge of the terrace, her silhouette illuminated by the flicker. She was tall, with dark hair that cascaded down her back in loose waves. Her eyes were piercing, a shade of green that seemed to reflect the very heart of the island. "You must be Sophia," the woman said, her voice low and melodic. "I'm Myra. I've been waiting for you." Sophia felt a flush of warmth spread through her body as she stepped forward. Myra's presence was intoxicating, her gaze so direct that it left Sophia feeling exposed, vulnerable. "I received your invitation," Sophia said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I don't understand. What is this place?" Myra smiled, a slow, sensual curve of her lips. "This island is a sanctuary," she said, stepping closer. A place where you can shed the constraints of the outside world and explore who you truly are. There are no boundaries here, Sophia. No rules, no expectations, only freedom. Sophia's heart raced as Maya reached out, her fingers grazing the bare skin of her arm. The touch was electric, sending a jolt of desire through her. You've come here for a reason, Myra continued, her voice a soft purr. You felt it, haven't you? That longing for something more, something deeper. Sophia nodded, unable to speak as Myra's hands slid down her arm, her touch both gentle and commanding. Tonight we begin, Myra whispered, but first, you must trust me. With a final, lingering touch, Myra stepped back, her eyes never leaving Sophia's. Come to the garden at midnight, she said, her voice a soft command. There, you will find what you've been searching for. As the night deepened, Sophia found herself wandering through the villa, her mind racing with thoughts of what was to come. The garden was hidden behind the villa, a lush, fragrant maze of flowers and vines. At the center was a pool, its surface shimmering in the moonlight. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine, and the soft sound of water cascading from a stone fountain filled the night. Sophia stood at the edge of the pool, her breath shallow as she waited. She could feel the energy of the island all around her, pulsing through her veins, stirring something deep within her. Suddenly, she felt a presence behind her. She turned to see Myra emerging from the shadows, a dark hair flowing around her like a halo. She was wearing a sheer, flowing gown that clung to her curves, leaving little to the imagination. Are you ready? Myra asked, a voice a soft caress. Sophia nodded, a pulse quickening as Myra stepped closer. The air between them seemed to crackle with anticipation, the tension building with each passing second. Myra's eyes held Sophia's as she reached out, her fingers grazing the soft fabric of Sophia's dress. With a slow, deliberate motion, she began to undo the ties, her hands moving with a sensual grace that left Sophia breathless. As the dress fell away, Sophia stood before Myra, exposed and vulnerable. But instead of feeling afraid, she felt the deep, primal sense of release. She was no longer bound by the expectations of the world outside. Here, on this island, she was free. Myra stepped closer, her hands sliding up Sophia's bare back, pulling her closer until their bodies were pressed together. The heat between them was palpable, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. Let go, Myra whispered, her lips grazing Sophia's ear. Let go of everything you've known. Here, you can be whoever you want to be. Sophia closed her eyes, surrendering to the moment, to the intoxicating pull of Myra's touch. The world around them seemed to disappear as they sank into the depths of the garden, their bodies entwined in a dance of desire and discovery. The night stretched on, filled with whispers and gasps, a soft rustle of leaves in the breeze, the gentle splash of water in the pool. Time seemed to lose its meaning, and Sophia found herself lost in a haze of pleasure. Her senses overwhelmed by the beauty of the island and the intensity of her connection with Myra. As dawn began to break, Sophia lay in the garden, her body spent, her mind still reeling from the night's events. Myra lay beside her, her fingers tracing lazy circles on Sophia's skin. You've only just begun, Myra whispered, a voice soft but filled with promise. There is so much more to discover. Sophia smiled, her heart swelling with anticipation. She had come to the island seeking adventure, and she had found something far more profound. She had found a place where she could truly be herself, where passion and mystery intertwine in a dance as old as time itself. And as the sun rose over the island, casting its golden light over the garden, Sophia knew that her journey was only just beginning.